everyone. If you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm back at the radio station today. There we go. Stand by. Hey guys, I'm just setting up. All right, just setting up, guys. Of course, we're excited. Who isn't excited? Well, the way Biden's carrying himself isn't leadership material, that's for sure. Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. What's the difference? The difference is, somebody asked what's the difference. The difference is I don't have to drive an hour in the morning to get here and 90 minutes or 2 hours to get home after. That's the difference. Does that make sense? That's the difference. And that's a big difference. Well, I've got today. I've got a meeting up this way. On top of the fact that this is kind of like the first day back. I got all the technical stuff worked out, but I don't want to have any technical problems either. This is because yesterday was a holiday, and today's a big day with all this terrorist stuff. Mm-hmm.
Still not sure exactly when the last day before we do the automated weather, but
Okay. All right. We'll be live on the air shortly. Yep. Okay.
He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. Their family home in Ukraine. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Ladies. He's the host of the Junior Joe Money Show. He's been doing it for over a decade.
All right, stand by. And you're all welcome to call in. Absolutely. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're new, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And boy, oh boy, do we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be, of course, talking about this, these terrorist attacks yesterday. and taking your calls on them because there's a lot to cover. We'll be live on the air in seconds, but watching Biden address the nation about it was just freaking scary. Just scary. Now, there should be zero tax on military pay. I agree with that. The military should be tax exempt on their pay.
They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your
All right,
care and
stand by.
lab test now with Boca. At any lab test now, of course.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea. No tax on military pay. Sounds like a good idea to me.
So don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now with Boca at any lab test now with Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, welcome back, one and all. It is January 2nd, 2025, the first real day of the new year, because yesterday was a holiday for most everybody. But we were here live on the radio yesterday, but today is the first day back for most of the country. But yesterday, I mean, just awful. You know, these two terrorist attacks that happened yesterday, we now know they are connected, without a doubt, because the New Orleans truck and the Cybertruck that blew up in front of Trump Tower in Las Vegas were both rented from the same app, that Turo app. And if you don't know what that is, because I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Turo app, it's kind of like Airbnb, but for vehicles. You can rent your own private vehicle out, which is a very strange thing to do. I don't know if I'd want to be involved in that with any of my vehicles. Would you? It seems crazy, but both of them were rented through the same app. That's your connection. I mean, that's pretty scary. And you know, these jihadi attacks yesterday, this is the scariest, in my opinion, and maybe you will disagree, or maybe you'll agree with this, I don't know. But in my opinion, this is the most frightening terrorist attack since 9/11. There's been other terrorist attacks, Boston bombing, Fort Hood, there's been some others here and there. But this is the most frightening since 9/11, and I'll tell you why. And it's not just because we have this senile old coot that's totally checked out as the president, and we have a wino, alcoholic vice president who's on a bender from the humiliation of losing the President Trump. That's not why it's the most frightening. On 9/11, we knew what was up real quick. It was almost right away. They told us Bin Laden. We knew what they were about. Now, we didn't know right away that the attacks had stopped, but we had people that were with it. No DEI hires like this senile old hag who's the police chief in Vegas, or this DEI FBI agent in charge out there with a nose ring who looks like she's 25 years old. Okay, we had competent people like Donald Rumsfeld. And as bad as Bush and Cheney are when it comes to being war criminals, at least they were competent on 9/11 and had competent people around them. I mean, did you see Biden yesterday when he was addressing the American people about this and the teleprompter went down? It was frightening. But that's not why this is the most frightening right now. That's a big part of it, because we don't know if this is over. I mean, these jihadi, pro-jihadi protests in the streets of New York yesterday after these terrorist attacks. I mean, what sick thing is that? How was that even allowed? And yeah, I know, it is frightening. But after 9/11, there was security in our minds on a couple of things. we knew the attacks were done by the airplane hijackings, and President Trump immediately grounded all aircraft in the United States, and we didn't have anything flying for about a week, if you remember. We have incompetent people running the government at every level. You know, Homeland Security was formed after 9/11 to protect the homeland. Where's Mayorkas? Did you guys see Mayorkas yesterday? Mayorkas basically has been a travel tour guide guiding illegal aliens into America. Homeland Security is not supposed to be a travel service, but that's what it is for illegals. So where's he? We also don't know what these attacks were all about or if it is over. I hope it is. But we don't know because we really don't know who's behind it. I know the guy's ISIS. You know, he had an ISIS flag. I didn't see anything about that with the Cybertruck. And there was obviously a connection between the two because of the rental of the vehicles. I mean, I knew right away that there was a connection. Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower, I saw it, and there's a lot of possibilities here of what's going on, but you know, nothing's going to equal 9/11 hopefully again, and this certainly doesn't equal that unless you're one of those that's been killed. Then it is worse, right? Or a family member who's lost someone. I get that, and it's god awful that this happened. But it also happened the day after Joe Biden commuted the death penalty sentence of the mastermind of 9/11, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. What kind of weakness, what kind of message does that send? So what's going on here? I mean, we really don't know. We have incompetent jokes running every agency of our government. We're 18 days away until the return of Trump and his team. Now, I imagine that Trump is being briefed on everything now. He's the president-elect. But I don't know, and I would like to think that his staff, Tulsi and Hegseth and everyone, that they're being briefed as well, but they're not in power right now. We have, I don't know who's running things right now. Is anyone running things in the United States right now? We've had a terror attack in two different parts of the country that are connected on the same day. New Orleans, Las Vegas, and then the Intifada March in New York City. How was that even allowed in New York yesterday? So it's frightening. We also don't know what the motivation and goal of the terrorist attacks yesterday really were. On 9/11, we knew it was Al Qaeda right away, so you have some idea of what they're about. But this we don't know, and that's what makes it so frightening. Fort Hood was isolated. Boston bombing, they got him pretty quick with a manhunt. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. There's a lot to cover. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We were here live yesterday, but today is our first day really back because yesterday was a big holiday. And if you were listening to yesterday's program, I made a New Year's resolution to Steve at Steve's request, and that is to take all of our breaks on time. And I did that yesterday. We're going to do it again today. All right, it's time for our first break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines.
All right, if you're on hold, hang in there, guys.
This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
If you're on hold, hang in there. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, we sure do. I mean,
Jail. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything's homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
Hi, I'm Sloan Smith. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1
Stand by.
because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833 all year. That's 833 all year.
Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties.
if you could delete that one, I don't know if you can.
Shows together, and much, much more. Call in and
Mike might have to do it.
Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in a private room rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. And there's, we're talking about, of course, the terrorist attacks yesterday. There's also another possibility that I hope is not true, that because we don't really know what's behind these two attacks in different parts of the country. But is this an attempt to keep Trump in a state of war in this country because he's vowed to end the Ukraine-Russian war and the Israeli-Gaza war? Could it be the military-industrial complex? Or I hope not. But it seems pretty stupid for these guys to do such a major terrorist attack 19 days before the return of President Trump, who does not play. All right, so let's go to the phones. Our number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Danielle, calling from Michigan. Good morning.
Hey, Danielle, what's up?
Yeah, I've got a couple feelings on this. Saddened. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I don't think this is the end of what we're going to see, unfortunately. I think we all need to be very vigilant, not fearful, and 18 days can't come soon enough. And I think their plan is to cause as much chaos.
Well, whose plan? Whose plan?
I think it's the people running the show.
Oh.
I think it's the deep state. I don't think this is the end of it, and I don't mean to sound negative. I'm just preparing and living my life. I'm not going to live in fear. But I think their evil plan is to make as much...
Well, this is, let me tell you something. This is the first time that we've been in a presidential elect period where we needed the new president so bad. And there's nothing that can be done until high noon on January 20th, okay? He can't come in early. There's no mechanism for that. So that's a problem. And then we have another problem, okay? And this is, sadly, this is when America's the weakest right now than we have been in any of our lifetimes, because we have Biden and Kamala, who are both out of it and incompetent, everybody that they have running the different agencies of government at every level are equally as stupid as they are, like this old lady, Margaret Hamilton, police chief in New Orleans yesterday. You know, and so when we go through the transition, the Trump people, they're not all going to be in place. You know, there's a lot of Senate hearings and everything else. I think on day one, because America's under attack again, President Trump, we need to get some recess appointments done as fast as possible and get some competent people running things, because when you're in a transition, who's running these agencies like Homeland Security during the transition before we have a Senate confirmation for Trump's pick for Secretary of Homeland, as an example?
I agree. I believe this is what I feel. Because I'll just go back to this again, and I've said this on your show before. God's got a plan, and he showed us that on July 13th when he spared and saved Trump's life. So I'm not going to be fearful that he's not coming back and not prepared. We just need to be very mindful, very watchful. But if you don't think he's sitting there right now biting at the bit, and if you don't think that all of these events that are going to happen are going to show Congress and the Senate, we don't have time to waste. Day one action. I'm going to say he's going to shut it all down. We're going to go in. I'm off on the 12th.
When you say shut it down, you know, I mean, it's easy for us to be fearless when we're not one of the people that got killed in New Orleans, right, or a family member of them. I mean, see, Bush and Cheney are bad guys, but at least they were competent and had competent people running the agencies of government. So after the attack, there was some safety in that. You've got these incompetents. We've got a transition. This is when the country, defense-wise, is at its weakest point in anyone's lifetime.
I understand. I do understand, and I'm putting all of my faith in God at this point, and I believe that he's got a great plan. We just have to get through this and keep, like I said, keep vigilant. But, we're all shaken and very saddened by what just happened. Just think of how Trump and Vance and all of these people that are just biting at the bit to get in to save this country. Just think of how they're preparing, what they're doing. I have full confidence. I have full confidence in all of them. And like I said, January 20th just is here soon enough. And prayers for all the people. And I hate to say it, but I don't think we've seen the last of this terror.
I hope you're wrong. Well, listen, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. I hope she's wrong. I hope it is the end of it, but not with these people. And another thing, all these Steve Bannon types that have been attacking Elon Musk, can that stop now? This attack in Vegas was about Elon Musk and President Trump, obviously. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. This is Richie.
Hey.
Now, I got to tell you, I believe in God and I believe in all this stuff, but like this lady that just called, man, I mean, the Jews were marched into the gas chambers, killed by maniacs, and they said, well, God will watch us. God will protect us. Lady, everyone out there, you can believe in God all you want. That's not going to protect you. The fact of the matter is our vulnerability as human beings. We're one step away from being taken out here, and we've let all these people into this country over the last 4 years. And I know this guy was not homegrown, but he learned it probably on a computer. I mean, this is very scary garbage. And when you see these people in charge, even the governor of Louisiana. I mean, first of all, the FBI agent with the nose ring who's not speaking properly and lying to us right off the bat that this is not with an Al-Qaeda flag. ISIS flag rather. This is outrageous, Brian. I mean, this is totally.
And I'll tell you this terror attack in Vegas yesterday, which we know is connected. I was. It was, yeah. And, it wasn't reported for hours and hours on Fox. Almost like the whole day, they didn't even mention it. And I thought, what is that about?
if that was a casino hotel where people are outside and it's going in and out, right, there might have been a lot of people hurt. Fortunately, he doesn't have a casino in that hotel, and nobody was out by a car when that happened. I mean, and it shot straight up. But it's ridiculous, man. First of all, we're not safe. We're not safe no matter who's in charge. Because, like I said, we've let all these people in. They got this. You know, you say you shouldn't say anything about Islam. I'm sorry, my friend.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, you don't, but there are a lot of people who say, well, you're Islamophobic when you call about the Muslims. The Muslims in this, I'm saying that the ideology, even if just 1% are wackos like this, they don't care about human lives. Their whole life is to take out.
Well, I mean, look at the nerve to have this jihadi march for intifada in the streets of New York yesterday. I mean, how could they even have how was that allowed?
Europe is having, I mean, we're always a little behind England. You see what's going on over there? I mean, the same thing happened in Germany.
England's gone. England's gone. It's lost. It's England has fallen. It's over.
What? Because the politicians let them all in from Syria and everywhere else. I'm telling you, and thank God we're getting Trump in here. But
well, what do you think this was about yesterday? 2 terrorist attacks in different parts of the country. What do you think it was about specifically?
I don't think it's deep state. I don't think it's that. I think what you see is sleeper cells and people that are inspired by this crazy ideology. The guy changed his religion. And he became radicalized on probably the internet, and he's got other people involved who could have come.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right, I gotta run for the break, but good call, Rich. I appreciate it. My New Year's resolution from Steve: take all the breaks on time, and it's easy to do. I learned yesterday, so we're going to continue to do it. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. The bomber in the Cybertruck does not count as a victim, by the way. When you do a death tally, you don't count the terrorist. I know some liberals do. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. Back after this. If you're on hold, hang in there. I know, it's scary. Callers on hold, stand by. Well, yeah, but it's a long 19 days, man. A very long 18 days. What's the problem? We got quite a ways to go, you know. Yes, we're on 8 radio stations. We're on 8 radio stations, that's why. He's not working as the president because, sadly, he doesn't have any authority. No. When I'm doing the show from When I'm doing the show from the other studio, Mike is where I'm at right now, running the commercials and doing everything here. No. Nope. It doesn't bypass him. I just connect to the radio station. That's all. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go back to the phones when we get back. We'll be back right now. We're coming back.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
Oh, that's the old rejoin mic, not the new one. Oh, we got the new one because yesterday was the first day of the 48th year of the Steve Kane Show. So now it's on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. All right, welcome back, everyone. If you're on hold, stand by. We're talking about these Islamic terrorist attacks that hit America yesterday. We're just trying to wrap our minds around what happened, what is going on, what's behind this. Is it over? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, these two attacks are too well coordinated, not for me to think that this is part of an op. You know, it's too well coordinated. Happened almost at the same time on the same day, and basically the same motif, right?
Yeah.
The truck and the car bombing, right? So, you know, you gotta put two and two together here and say, does the deep state have something to do with this? Does the military-industrial complex have something to do?
Well, you know, there was a big there was a lot of symbolism here, right? In New Orleans, you know, Louisiana, where you're at, you know, we had the ISIS flag, but the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower, I mean, come on, that was a message.
Yeah, that was a message. And look, both of these two situations fear Trump coming into office. The military-industrial complexes fearing Trump because he's going to mess with their money by getting us out of all these wars. The deep state feared Trump because he's going to fire them all.
Yeah. All right, Mike, I appreciate the call. You know, it's amazing to me the way that the media have reacted to this. You know, when the story came out yesterday of the jihadi in New Orleans, that, you know, it went through some different things. After it happened, as soon as it happened, I knew it was terrorism. I mean, it was obvious. Okay, it was obvious. But the first news was they were this guy came through Eagle Pass. So there was the first thought that he was another one of Biden and Kamala's dreamers. But then when the media, they weren't happy about that. But then we found out it was just the truck went through Eagle Pass. And when the media found out that the terrorist in New Orleans was American, did you notice in the media, the liberal media, the fake news media, the state-controlled media, did you notice that in the mainstream media there was a sense of relief on their part? That's how I felt. These are really weird people. I've seen this before. When the Boston bombing happened, all of us knew what happened. We knew it was Islamic terrorism. Took the media hours to do that. And then when they had the press conference, they had I can't remember if it was the Boston police and the FBI. I can't remember who did the press conference, but they had, before they got the Zarnev brothers, who were the Boston bombers, when they were still hunting for them, they had a street camera photograph of them. It wasn't great quality, but they showed it at a press conference, and they were white. And I remember the media were almost high-fiving each other when they saw that the terrorists were white. It was so sick. It was so sick. You know, they like felt good about it because they were white. Now we found out they were white Muslims. Remember the media reaction to that? Fort Hood with Nidal Hassan, who was Al-Qaeda inside our military. Just because someone's he was a major. In fact, when Nidal Hassan, who was the Al-Qaeda traitor that shot up Fort Hood, he was stationed in Virginia, was speaking at an army event to other officers, and went on this jihadi rant. And we didn't have the term woke yet, but Obama was the president, and no one reported him for his jihadi rant because they were afraid they'd be disciplined by the Obama Pentagon. And he got promoted to major and transferred to Fort Hood after he went on a jihadi rant in front of many other officers at an official Army event. I can't remember what the event was, but it was in Virginia. I remember that. And when Fort Hood happened, remember those were it was a hit on soldiers that were just coming back at Fort Hood from the war zone, and we all knew, everyone knew it was Islamic terrorism. It took the media 6 hours, maybe more, to tell us the name and tell, you know, because they didn't want to say Nidal Hassan. They were putting it off for as long as they could. And the longer they put off the name, the more we knew it was Islamic terrorism. There was an incident, this one, I just remembered this one. There was an Islamic terror attack, a husband and wife, remember, in California? Killed everyone at a Christmas party, right? Media covered that one up too. You know, and I don't know why the left are so pro these people that want to kill everybody, but sadly they are, and that's just what you have to deal with. And yesterday, I was mentioning to one of the callers for the break, this Cybertruck explosion I saw on X, and yeah, there were fireworks involved, but it was still a pretty serious explosive device. And you could see that it was fireworks. And when I first saw it, I thought, is this a joke because of the fireworks? Then we found out it wasn't. And I was following this all afternoon on X. And I was talking to Steve. He says, you know, they haven't had that on Fox once. They did later in the day, but they didn't on Fox once all day long. Why is that? You know, and why is Elon, you know, this is so important. You know, it's been a week since this stupid MAGA war thing began, with Bannon and others just flipping out over Elon Musk. That's got to stop. It should stop anyway. But the reason I wonder is there's some deep state component to this, some military industrial complex component to this, is because Vegas yesterday was a message to Elon Musk. Maybe they're trying to scare Elon Musk. You know, he's got family, he's got kids. You know, maybe they're trying to scare him. I don't know. But it was definitely a message to Elon Musk about his relationship. And we've seen some MAGA people, I don't get it, but we've seen the Republican establishment and the left try to get President Trump to sever his relationship with Elon Musk, and then this happens yesterday? That's why I wonder, is this our military-industrial complex? Why would the jihadis care about Elon Musk like that? Seems a little strange, doesn't it? Because, you know, to be focused on something like that. Because the jihadis don't, their motivations are not what we would be motivated by. It's a whole nother culture that's like from another planet. They don't usually think about the same things in the same way that we do. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air.
Oh.
Yes, you called me. What's on your mind?
Yes, what's your show?
Oh my goodness. You know, what? Why did you call?
Something about like Muslims or something. No.
Well, we had an Islamic terrorist attack in New Orleans yesterday. The guy had an ISIS flag. He was Muslim.
Car crash.
It wasn't a car crash. It was a terrorist attack.
Like you know, just ran people over.
No, he ran some people over. He also shot people and had IEDs as well in his vehicle, and where he was staying, they found explosives.
Oh, okay.
What are you looking? Are you looking to try to excuse? What do you want to? You trying to look for an excuse here? Trying to divert blame to somebody else?
Well, I'm not too sure about what happened. I saw a little bit of it on the news.
Oh, so you're uninformed and ignorant of what's going on. Okay, the guy had an ISIS flag.
Okay. What?
He was involved in a shootout with police as well. It was not a car accident. It wasn't a drunk.
I heard you said the left rejoiced because they found that he was white or something.
No, are you still intoxicated from New Year's? Are you smoking weed or something? Are you asleep? Because you're a little slow. A little bit what? Sleepy. But you're sober, you're not drinking, you're not smoking. Just sleepy.
I don't use any substances.
Oh, that's good. Good for you. You know, just say no. No, what I said was when we, in the Boston bombing, before the Islamic terrorists, the Zarnev brothers, were identified, we didn't know who they were, they had a photograph. Everyone knew it was terrorism, the Boston bombing. And when they had the wanted photograph, before they were ID'd and they were white, the media had a sense of relief that they were white. And not only that, I remember at the press conference, the law enforcement people that were running the press conference had the same excitement that they were white. Like they thought they weren't Muslim. They were white Muslims, we found.
So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like, what do you like trying to say about all this? Like,
Well, what I'm saying is this. America is under attack. We had 2 Islamic terrorist attacks yesterday. One in New Orleans and a second one in Las Vegas with the explosion of the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower. America's under attack. What should we do? Well, you know, there's not much we can do other than try to figure out what happened. But maybe you should get some sleep because you're pretty out of it. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business.
Boy, oh boy.
At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence.
Boy, oh
Our team
boy.
specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to
If you're
customer
new,
satisfaction,
make sure you
personal
subscribe,
and
guys.
consistent
And
to ensure
if
you
you're already
receive
subbed,
the
please
best
like the
customer
video.
service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you don't trust and experience are 2 big qualities. And as it turns out, my friend Jupiter Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561.
Welcome. If you're new, welcome to the program.
Or even simpler, you can go to jupiterjoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement No
This is just upsetting. I mean,
Call
I just...
561 743-0999. Or remember, go to JupiterJoe.com. That's JupiterJoe.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, we are back. Call us on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. You know, I want to remind you guys about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh, man. You know, there's no need to be driving around on old, bald tires that are not safe for your vehicle. Not with Friendly Tire in Margate. They have the lowest prices on tires I've seen anywhere. I've been a customer at Friendly Tire in Margate, I don't know, 15 years or so. You know, I was in there the other day. I ran into a listener. He was getting these massive tires that were so big, it was like half my height. I mean, these were massive tires. And he was telling me what a great deal he was getting. It's absolutely amazing. You know, Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire has new tires out the door and on the road as low as $70 a tire. And when I say out the door and on the road, remember, Friendly Tire does not charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tire. He has all the name brands you know and love: Pirelli, Bridgestone, Firestone. I'm a Firestone guy myself. I just like Firestone. I don't know, kind of grew up on Firestone tires. But any brand that you are into, he can get them. Also, if you have run flats, I have run flats on one of my cars. The lowest price on run flats you'll find anywhere. Give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. He also does tire repairs. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. All right, for Friendly Tire in Margate. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, boy. All right, here we go. It's one of those days. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What's your name?
Yeah, I was calling from Oklahoma. My name is Ben.
Ben? Okay.
So, for one thing, I wanted to know if your MAGA hat was made in China or is it made in America?
No, it's made, this is made in the United States, and it says right inside, made in the USA. Yes. Wait, now let me ask you. No, excuse me. You ask questions, I ask questions. Is the phone that you are calling me on, where was it made? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, it's very, it is very difficult. I love these liberals that have this standard that everything must be made. Okay, all right, there we go. Oh my goodness. In 2025, we just had to use the dump button. 2025, the dump button, for those that don't know, on the radio, I would love to have talked to that guy. I really, if you're on hold, stand by. I got to wait for the delay to build back up. I would love to have talked to that guy. The dump button, for those that don't know, on the radio, there are more than 7 words you cannot say. I know George Carlin said there's 7 words. Well, there's been some other words coined since Carlin's routine. But we're on a delay on the radio. So when someone says one of the words you can't say, like he said the S word, which is the hot word of 2025, because I think every dump that we've done so far since New Year's Eve has been the S word. It's big. S word's back in big time. We have to hit the dump button so that profanity doesn't go out on the radio. That's what the dump button is. But I would love to have talked to that guy. But I love this standard they have. You know how the most common question I get from liberals, not just on the air, I mean out and about, is that question: is that MAGA hat you're wearing made in China or the United States? It's made in the United States, but this standard that you're some kind of traitor to America if you have something that's made in China or another country other than the United States. What are you listening to me on now? A radio, a computer, a phone? Chances are it was made in China, Japan. If you're lucky, it was assembled in the United States. The left have been selling America out since the 50s, okay? And they have moved everything that's manufacturing-wise to other countries. So I don't understand this standard that if you have something or buy something that's not made in the United States, somehow you've committed treason. And it's fascinating to me when I'm asked this by somebody who's talking to me on a phone that was made in China. I assure you, but I, it's a very bizarre standard they have. But 2025 may be the year of the dump. I mean, we may have broken a record for the dump button already for the beginnings of a new year. All right, let's go back to our phones. 1-888-465-2631. I remember Glenn Beck. One of his enterprises was he had a line of blue jeans, and they had a name. I can't remember the exact name, but it was 1775 jeans. It wasn't 1776 jeans. It was like 1774 jeans. It was one of those early Revolutionary War era years that was significant. I don't know what the number was, and they were like $160 a pair. And I love jeans. I love blue jeans. And I'd like to have bought a pair, but they were 1791 jeans. Yeah, okay. So they were, what's the significance of 1791? The Constitutional Convention was in 1787. What happened in 1791? I don't know offhand. But anyway, was that the end of Washington's first term? I don't know. What was 1791? But anyway, he was explaining, I'm sorry to sell the jeans for so much money, but we're making them in America. Right? And that's the cost of manufacturing in America. Oh, you're a traitor. You got things made in China. You're talking to me on a phone that was made in China. You're listening to me on a radio in a car that was made in Korea or Japan or Mexico even. Okay, so I don't understand the point. It's a point. They don't understand the point. All the left have are vacuous talking points. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yeah, turn down the volume of whatever you're listening to me on in the background, please. Yes.
1791, the ratification of the Bill of Rights, the establishment of the District of Columbia, and the opening of the first bank of the United States.
Now, the Bill of Rights are the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. The convention was in 1787. I don't know what 799, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sure it was an important year.
Yeah, District of Columbia was established, Washington, D.C.
Okay.
The United States. But so, to rewind back to the Tesla, or that truck.
The Cybertruck.
That's an American domestic terrorist right there. I don't think that was a foreign terrorist act.
Why? This is slow down. Slow down a second. Okay, so the guy I don't know if they've given us the ID of the Cybertruck guy. I know they've ID'd the person, but I don't know that. I haven't seen the ID given to us yet. Maybe it's on X. I don't know. Unrelated. I know. Well, then you don't. Just a coincidence on the same day? I don't think so. But the guy in New Orleans we know, right? Born in Texas, he's an American jihadi. What is the significance of that in your mind?
The significance of the one in New Orleans?
Yeah.
I haven't really been on the news the last couple of weeks. I've been taking a break, honestly. But
we have a lot of opinions, and then you just told me that the two incidents weren't related. So if you haven't watched the news, and you don't know what's going on, how could you say that they're unrelated? Oh my goodness.
Well, I just think that it's more of an American way of thinking to be like, oh, look at a Tesla truck and blow up in front of.
That's an American way to think. What's American about that? What's American about that? I can tell you don't know. There is, excuse me, there's a long list of American terrorists. I mean, Johnny Walker Lynch was an American born and raised in California who was fighting with the Taliban against U.S. forces in Afghanistan. And he was captured in the early days of the War on Terror. Just because someone was, the United States is a diverse country. Just because someone was born in this country does not mean that the international Muslim intifada is not involved.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
All right, appreciate the call. Take care, man. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Jason from California.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so that terrorist that you're talking about, I'm liberal and I'm gonna defend that guy.
Okay.
How many people did he kill?
Which one? You're talking about in New Orleans? The number's growing all the time, so I don't have the latest update on it, but several. I don't know offhand.
I don't know what liberals you talk to. You must be talking to some fucking.
Now there we go again. See, we're going for a record with the dump button. They've expanded from the S word to the F word. Oh my goodness. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to the phones after the top of the hour break. We're going to wait for the delay to re-engage. Oh my goodness. Yes, I know. That's the left. That's the left. Now, I want to tell you guys that the MyPillow.com with our promo code Kane has a whole bunch of specials going on for the new year, and it's free shipping on all orders over $75. The MyPillow sheets, I have the MyPillow sheets. I have like 8 sets of them, regular and flannel. The MyPillow bed sheets, just $39.98. They have a whole bunch of new colors in. I'm going to show these to my wife. A whole bunch of new colors, and some are solid, some are patterns, and they are spectacular. The flannels, there's a bunch of new patterns in those as well, and those are discounted heavily as well. But the MyPillow sheets, they're made out of Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world, and they're 100% Giza cotton. And I don't know what it is about that Giza cotton, but no matter what the temperature is throughout the year, you're like Goldilocks with these sheets. You're always the right color. I mean, the right temperature. If it's cold, you're warm. If it's hot, you're cool. I also have not just the Giza sheets of my pillows. I also have the Percow sheets. I got those because I wanted to try them out since I talk about them. So I ordered a set. We have them on our guest bed. They are spectacular too. And they're also heavily discounted. So go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, free shipping on orders over $75. All right, let's go back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes.
Hi, this is Night Owl. I'm on your live chat on YouTube.
Oh, well, welcome, Night Owl.
And I just wanted to say that I love your show. And I was on X earlier, and they have identified the man he's from Colorado.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. You're right. I did see that he was from Colorado this morning. You were correct. I just forgot.
They were at his house, and there's like a Colorado news station out there and going live with updates. And
well, that tells you that's ground zero for liberal wackadoodles. I mean, in Colorado, they're going to, not only did they legalize marijuana, but they are going to fight against the deportation of these Venezuelan gang members that are holding Coloradan citizens hostage in apartment buildings. So, the land, it's as left wing as California, maybe even more so.
What a shame it is that what they're doing in this country. And I watched a thing on X. There was a big protest, a big pro-Hamas protest in New York City yesterday.
They called it an intifada march, and it was after both of these Islamic terrorist attacks happened. I mean, what a bunch of psychos.
It's really scary out there, and I just hope everyone stays safe, and I'm praying for President Trump and for all the good people that we just want to live our life.
Yeah, well, maybe you can pray for some of our listeners because we have some deranged people I've been speaking to today, but at least it makes things interesting. Hey, listen, I got to run for the break. Thanks for the call. And this is day 2, and so far we've taken all the breaks on time. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back right after this. Yeah, these callers today are whacked out. All right, stand by, guys. We will be back shortly.
Active on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, we are back. Hour number 2. This is, of course, January 2nd, 2025. Steve and I have an announcement, but I think I'll wait for Steve because I'm not sure if he wants to announce it today. I'll wait for Steve. I was about to do it, but I think we'll wait. We're talking about these terror attacks yesterday. Now, the terrorists that blew up the Cybertruck in Las Vegas in front of Trump Tower, we have a second connection between him and the jihadi of New Orleans. Okay, now the first one was that the New Orleans terrorist and the Cybertruck in Vegas were both rented from the Turo app. Okay, the jihadi, the terrorist in Vegas, has been identified. He is from Colorado Springs. He's also a former Green Beret and Army Special Forces team sergeant. On his LinkedIn, it says that he holds a bachelor's degree in strategic studies and defense. So we have U.S. Army connections between both guys, too. So there's 3 things. Terrorist attack with the bombs, because they both had bombs. Cars rented from the same platform. Both of them U.S. Army. And you can even hear what these idiots I've been talking to this morning from the left, even there, you can even hear a little smile in their voice. Oh, they're homegrown. Hey, why does that make you happy? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Okay, man, I'm hoping in a few days when President Trump takes over, he'll have all of the CIA, FBI, all the damn agencies hunting down these people who are backing these terrorists.
Yeah, but there's a problem, okay? When Trump comes in on the 20th, these agencies, there's a transition. Kash Patel and all these people have to go through a confirmation process. And the people that are in place, that are the career people, are these DEI hires, like this FBI agent in New Orleans with the ring in her nose.
This is what I'm saying, but it's going to take some time, yep. But hopefully they'll get rid of all those people, put some good people in, we'll hunt these people down who are good.
I'm going to tell you, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who just had his death penalty sentence commuted by Joe Biden 2 days ago. What a sicko. And Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, he's commonly referred to as the mastermind of 9/11. He not only did he plan it and organize it, he had the first thought to do it. And he got it from watching Independence Day when they blew up the White House, he said. Remember that? And and the fact that he's still alive is insane to me. And now the death penalty's been removed. The death sentence has been removed. I know that I would not normally use any movie or television or science fiction references to something so serious, but because 9/11 was born out of Independence Day, okay? We know that for a fact. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed said this. He was bragging about it. There was an episode, the Outer Limits had a resurgence back in the 80s or early 90s, and they had an episode, it involved an alien attack like an Independence Day, but it happened during the presidential transition period like we're in now. And the whole episode was about how the government was so disorganized during a transition period because the old administration's still in place at the agencies and the new president's in. And I don't know how long it would take for President Trump to get his people in place during a crisis like this.
Hoping that now that it's Republican run everything, that maybe it'll be a little quicker than normal. I mean, you're going to have the long process with the Democrats wasting their time just saying anything they...
Well, the sheriff in Vegas, he seemed all right yesterday. Some reporters said, is there some connection to Elon Musk, some message, and he says, of course. I mean, what are you, an idiot? So the guy in Vegas seems competent. But you look at New Orleans, the FBI agent, I mean that was embarrassing. And the police chief is this old lady who's like 98 years old. And apparently she was involved in some very strange car accident recently. And she was fired from her last job as a police chief and then sued for wrongful termination and was awarded $1.5 million. So what I'm telling you is we have a bunch of DEI, didn't earn it. We have a bunch of DEI hires defending America while we're under attack right now.
Yeah, man, this is bad. It's kind of like saying you're not feeling good, there's cancer. The country's in trouble. We got to get these people out, figure out what the hell's going on, because everybody, especially with the Democrats in power, they just let everything go by. So what, and so what, and here we go. 2 terrorist attacks in America. And the dumbest thing was, what a waste of a Cybertruck. Put it out, it didn't even blow out the...
All right, I think you've run out of material when you're concerned about the loss of the Cybertruck. I'm concerned about the loss of human life. He's concerned about the loss of the Cybertruck. I mean, what a... Do you know, after 9/11, when these terror events happen, crazy things happen on shows like this. People get really weird. A couple of the liberal idiots that called in the first hour, when I was talking about these other terror events, and I was talking about reaction, they said, where do you get this stuff? I've lived through this, okay? And a lot of other people have too. And, you may have heard me mention, because I've mentioned it many, many times, because some of these callers, they're American. Why are you saying jihadi and all this stuff? After 9/11, and I can't, again, I should look this up because every time I tell this, I forget. I don't know what day of the week 9/11 was. But the first Saturday after 9/11, Steve called me up and he said, because we were taking calls all week and it was scary and people were ticked off. And there was a lot of people saying all kinds of things about Muslims after 9/11. And Steve says, we need to bring an imam in from the local mosque so that people can see that people don't think this way. And I called up one of the local mosques. We brought in an imam. And it was very strange. We had a couple of imams in, but this guy, he was wearing blue jeans and like a polo shirt. He wasn't dressed in the traditional Muslim clothing when he came in. And he was saying, he said some things that were nuts. He said they call Jews Israelis. Okay, they don't call Jews. All Jews are Israelis to them. Okay, he said the Israelis got out of the buildings before the plane hit. Now, and he was saying that Israel was behind 9/11, and this was nuts. And I remember we had him come on at 7, and we were scheduled to have him till 9, and this was right at the beginning. And he said the Israelis, meaning Jews, got out of the building before the planes hit. Well, if they were involved in it, why would they've even been there? And then he went on to say, now this was the Monday after 9/11, the first Monday after 9/11 this show happened. And he said the planes were controlled remotely by Israelis, that the Israelis remotely flew the planes into the buildings. And the phone lines lit up. It was really scary. I mean, you got to understand, this was the Monday after 9/11, right? It was a different place. The country was a different place then. It's a long time ago, different place. And we were, we went to break. This was right out the gate, okay? We took the first break. This was in the 7 o'clock hour. And Steve and I were looking at each other, and we were like, oh. And then we come back from the first break of that hour, and I cannot remember Steve had asked him a question, trying to save him, trying to get him out of this, because the purpose of the show was to show people in the audience that, yes, these hijackers were Muslims, but not all Muslims agree with it. And I can't remember what Steve asked him in the second segment, but it was just as his response was just as twisted as in the first segment. And Steve said, thank you very much for coming, and that was it. We had him in studio like 20, 25 minutes. We go outside, the building was surrounded by deputies because it was a different place at 9/11. And we had a series of people we had in because our first thought was, okay, this is just an outlier, was our first thought. You know, we're trying to be responsible broadcasters. You know, this is right a week after 9/11. We brought in another guy with an old friend of mine, Joe Kaufman, who runs for Congress all the time and loses, but he's a good conservative guy. He's a Jew, and he's very much involved in supporting Israel and fighting anti-Semitism in America. And we brought, the next time we did this, we brought Joe Kaufman in studio with a Muslim spokesperson from one of the big organizations. I know the name of the organization, but I'm not going to say the name of the organization because they're bad dudes, and I don't want them to know I'm talking about them because I don't want to deal with their crap. And this was another guy who said that the Israelis got out of the buildings. He was talking about the remote controls on the planes. The second Muslim we brought in, this guy was not an imam, but he was a spokesperson with one of the big Muslim organizations. This was like two weeks or so after 9/11. And this guy, I mean, this was insane what happened with this guy, okay? So he basically, in the first segment, I was there, Steve was there, Joe Kaufman was there, and this Muslim guy, and I missed the break. I told you I was take every break on time. I'll finish that when we get back from the break, all right? We'll be right back, don't go anywhere.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Shannon on the radio with a quick reminder that if you like music by the Stones, the Beatles, the Beach Boys, the Four Seasons, and all those big hits from Motown, this morning, right after 10 a.m., it's all back on the air right here on South Florida's True Oldies Channel.
Experience an incredible journey through the songs and stories of American folk rock with Live from Laurel Canyon on January 6th at the Kravis Center. New top hits from the Mamas and the Papas, Carole King, Crosby, Stills and Nash, James Taylor, and more. Plus myriad stories from the most influential songwriters from Laurel Canyon in the 60s and 70s. Get tickets at Kravis.org.
Coming out as gay is not even controversial. If you really want to shock your parents, come out as straight. They'll be shocked. I saw somebody making some comment in the chat.
Sailing for 7 nighs on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisinginco.com to make your reservation and lock in our private cruise rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, Harrison Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at
All right, we're back. Call us on hold, stand by. You know, I was listening to the commercial for our Trump Victory Cruise. Steve and I are taking our 6th annual cruise in March. Our cruise is sold out. And it's crazy. I mean, we've never sold out this early. But if you call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, you can get your name on the waiting list if a cabin opens up on board, which may happen, may not happen, could happen. So I'm going to give you Ian's number. Give him a call and get on the waiting list because I want as many of you to come as possible. We have a great time, and you'll love hanging out with Steve and myself for the whole week and our great MAGA listeners. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Okay, let me finish what I was talking about. If you're on hold, hang in there. So then we had the second guy on. He was in studio, the second Muslim spokesperson. He was in studio with Joe Kaufman, and who is always running for Congress. You see his signs. He's not running now. He just lost again. Steve and I was there, and he was saying the same crazy things. We go to the first break, and Steve had said something about, as a Jew, this was during the break, just a casual conversation during the break. He had mentioned he's Jewish. And the guy says, "You're a Jew." This was during the break. And then Joe Kaufman said, "What's wrong with that? I'm a Jew too." And the guy points at Joe and says, "You're a Jew too." And he started laughing with this very evil laugh. And I was like, "Oh my, this is nuts." We had in total in the weeks after 9/11, we had 3 Muslims in studio. 2 of them were imams. 1 was a spokesperson. And then we brought in Henry from Sweden, if you remember Henry from Sweden. And he was another one where the police came for him, you know, when we had him in. And those of you that remember those shows back then, you know, it was something else. So when the analysis that you get on this program after terror events, we've been through so many, okay, that, and when I say we, I mean me and Steve both. This is the 48th year of the Steve Kane Show on the radio. We've been through a lot of these things and have experienced all of this. Now, for the most part, though, these people have gotten their act together. And they don't speak openly this way anymore. They did in the early days after 9/11, but they got the PR machine working and they openly, for the most part, say the right thing. But if you were a half-decent person after 2 terrorist attacks, would you have an intifada march in the streets of New York after 2 terrorist attacks yesterday? No, you would not on the same day. That's one of the most twisted things I've ever seen so far as activists in this country do. And I've seen some pretty sick, twisted things. All right, let's go to the phones. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yes.
Okay. What makes you an authority to take the position she's not qualified to be a special agent?
Who are you talking about?
Obviously, the special agent.
Well, what are her qualifications?
What makes you an authority? Have you ever sat the door?
Have I ever what?
Hands-on.
Hands. Oh, you're using law enforcement terms. I'll tell you. Okay, this is what. You asked the question. Do you want the answer? Can I interrupt your prepared statement and answer your question? Excuse me.
She's black. You don't like her because she's black. You have never gone hands-on. You've never scanned a room. You know what it's like. But your issue is he's black.
Now, if that's true, slow down for if I'm a coward, certainly you can take me on with some words here. You got to stop talking. I'm going to answer your questions and respond to what you said. So your position is that my issue with hold on a second here. Calm down, okay? I may not have stood a door or stacked a door or stacked some Lincoln logs, but I've had a conversation with an idiot in the past, okay? You're not the first, you won't be the last. You believe that my issue with her is not that she's inarticulate, doesn't command the room and has a ring in her nose, but that she's a black woman. If that, I am a parent of a black woman. Why would I adopt a black child and raise that child and not like black women? Can you explain that to me?
Dude, let me guess. Let me guess. Your go-to answer, my daughter's black.
That's relevant to the conversation. If you say that I don't like black women, explain me having a black daughter.
It's strange because you know what? He mutes me every time.
No, you're on the air. You're on the air.
Go screw.
Oh, so you have no answer to that. Okay. Do we have to dump? Do we have to dump that? Let's dump that one just to be safe. I think that's an okay word, but we always got to err on the side of caution. By the way, there's no one could convince me that guy had an answer to that. I don't like saying that. I don't like using that. I mean, I shouldn't have to, but it doesn't make sense. This happened. Well, you know what? We're going to take my New Year's resolution to Steve Kane is to take all of our breaks on time, and I've done that except for the last one. We're going to take this one on time. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our bottom of the hour break on time. That's the new. Steve gave me a good tip. He says, you take the top of the hour break on time every time, year after year. Why can't you do that at the bottom, in the quarter after, in the quarter till? I said, I never thought of it that way. That's right. I've never missed a top of the hour break ever. All right. We'll be back right after this.
So I think I did it right. I think I put in the news sweep right.
Oh. That's no big thing.
Should be at the end.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the
Oh my goodness.
Today is Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, and right now it's 59 degrees.
Everyone thinks you mute people and cut them off. Him on the air saying all that so people can hear it shows otherwise.
Yeah. I'll explain when we get back what that is. I'll explain before I get back to the phones. I'll explain to you guys, because that guy's probably mine. When, because for the radio feed, when my mic is on, it mutes the speakers in the room, so you don't get feedback. Okay? So, everything is heard on the radio, but not on YouTube here, because like I'm gonna turn the mic on. Hear the traffic report? Okay, I'm gonna turn my mic on. Watch. It mutes. I'll do it again. Okay, so that's one aspect. So when you hear the muting on television, on YouTube, it's because of that. I have to turn my mic on so you guys can hear the callers. The other thing is, the way that the radio signal works, only one person can talk at a time, or on the radio it sounds like mud. So when someone won't stop talking and if you hear Steve and I, we don't talk at the same time, even when we're arguing. So when someone won't stop talking to give me a moment to respond, I'll hit the mute, because you can only have one voice talking at a time on the radio, or you can't hear it's mud. So primarily, this is a radio broadcast. That has to take priority over the live streaming and everything. So that's why that happens. You know, if I were concerned about censoring callers, I wouldn't go screenless. Mike has a phone back there. He could answer and screen the calls. And we take the calls screenless because we want people to give us grief, to call in. And, you know, you understand? I mean, we do it for a number of reasons. So if we were afraid of being made look the fool or anything, it just would have Mike screen the calls and screen that out. So no, it's just, you know. But I know every once in a while I'll explain, like, look, I'm going to turn my mic on again. So when I'm talking to a caller, so you guys can hear, I reach over and turn my mic off. And then when I talk again, I turn it on. And when I turn it on, it mutes the speakers here on YouTube. Does that make sense?
602-954-4602 and online, reportercontracting.com.
Say goodbye to the holiday hustle and hello to smooth sailing on award-winning cruises with Margaritaville at Sea.
Believe me, I love people that give me problems. I love people giving me problems. And that guy hung up. I wasn't done talking to him. I would have talked to him until the break. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, I have no problem people giving me crap. But to say that I am bigoted against black women, I have one child, she's a black woman, that just doesn't make sense. I don't like saying that all the time, but if someone's calling me, you know, I'll explain when we get back. Maybe. I'll take some calls, but I've seen real racism in action. It's not pretty. That's one of the worst things a person can be. One of the worst. I mean, there's murderers, rapists, or worse, but that's one of the worst things a person can be. So when someone calls someone a racist or an anti-Semite, those aren't things that I just throw around liberally. Those words have a lot of strong meaning. Oh.
Celebrating 48 years on the air.
Oh, wow. That sounds good. And I like that. Is that the True Oldies Orchestra in the background playing that orchestra music? It sounds beautiful. 48 years on the radio. Oh, my goodness. One day, I will write a book about all the behind the scenes of the Steve Kane Show. Even Steve would be shocked at some of the things that's gone on behind the scenes. All right. Let's go back to the phones. We're talking about these the Islamic terrorist attack on our nation yesterday. America's under attack, and we're being governed by lunatics. Before I go to the phones, the thing about the FBI agent yesterday, she wouldn't even call it terrorism. And I've heard some people on television, well, that's how they go. That's how they never say. On 9/11, no one was holding back. They said what it was. Okay? Terrorism. And FBI agents don't typically have rings in their noses. Now, maybe if she's going undercover and trying to bust some frat girls for buying weed or something, right? You get the nose ring in. Maybe if you're going undercover as a prostitute or a junkie, you might have a nose ring in. But when you're doing a press conference and you're taking the lead in that press conference for a terrorist attack against the United States on one of the biggest holidays of the year, New Year's, and one of the most party central zones in America, the Bourbon Street, New Year's Eve is a big thing. When you go out there, you take the nose ring out. And you command some respect. And you call a spade a spade. Oh, boy, I shouldn't use that word. It's terrorism. The ISIS flag kind of gave it away. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. Once, twice. All right. It's one of those days, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Archie, in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Archie. What's up?
Well, these people, I wonder, and I'm hoping that they're going to build a real special memorial for all those victims in New Orleans. It's just terrible.
I don't know. There's memorials around for George Floyd. Certainly, they are entitled to something. I mean, let me ask you though. These two incidents. Is there any question in your mind that they're related? I mean, the guys, the both. This is what we know, right? Explosives at both vehicles rented from the same app, and both of them, the Cybertruck guy, like the New Orleans ISIS guy, former U.S. Army. So we've got multiple connections connecting these guys together. That was a coordinated attack in different parts of our nation.
Yeah, and the libtard media, they thought they had something there with the guy being a Texas citizen and member of the Army and all that. They thought they had something there. But people forget that Obama was in his domain back 18 years ago and ruled for 8 years and still controls this shutdown and adult diapers for the last 4 years. His whole conglomerate of cabal is still in place right now.
Well, what you're talking about is the bureaucracy, the career people that work in all these agencies. You know, this is what I was talking about. I started this at the top of the hour, and I'd like to hear your comment on this because I think you might agree or disagree. I don't know. As scary as 9/11 was, this is the scariest terrorist attack since 9/11. The reason I say that is we have a checked out president. We have an incompetent checked out vice president. The agencies of government are run by wokesters. I mean, Mayorkas has been overseeing Invasion USA. I didn't even see him speak yesterday, our Secretary of Homeland Security. If he did, I missed it. He might have been bringing another group of illegals in. I don't know. And then on top of that, President Trump's back in 18 days, but how long will it be until his people are in place, right? You know, so hopefully the attack is over and done. But America was attacked yesterday, and we've got this incompetent administration plus a transition period. America is at its weakest point defense-wise than we've been in our lifetimes right now because of that.
By tenfold, the amount of unvetted people coming in from all these undocumented countries with backgrounds and all that. I mean, wouldn't it be great to walk into Canada or Australia with a clean bill, a clean record, never
new name,
a new name, new everything, new.
It's like witness protection program.
Yeah, exactly. Witness protection program. You walk in there with a new name, your whole background is forgotten.
Your name is whatever you say it is. Your age is whatever you say it is. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, you might be able to be lucky and go to school. You might be a 40-year-old guy and be able to go to school with stuff.
And that happens in Massachusetts. They got gray hair in their middle school. That's happened. You know, and this is a serious thing here. In fact, you know, we've had transitions to with party switches before during wartime, but the people that were in place, like when we went from Ford to Carter, or even Carter to Reagan, in these periods, you still had some competent people in charge. Now, I mean, when Ronald Reagan, I sometimes I talk about this Miami Dolphins coach with the skinny pants, and people think, what do you hate on? And I say, what would Don Shula do if one of his coaches walked out in those pants? What would Don Shula do? I know what he'd do. He'd kick him off the field. He wouldn't let him back. But you know, maybe a little more graphic. He might kick something else. Don Shula wouldn't put up with the guy wearing pants like that on his coaching staff. Okay, in the days of Reagan and such, the FBI press conference would have been handled by a tough guy or a tough broad, a tough woman, not an inarticulate kid with a nose ring who wouldn't call it terrorism.
Oh man, they really had to. Can you imagine the little powwow session they had when they decided to put her out there, the FBI? Screwed. I'll tell you what, people. Maybe they'll come up with a cute slogan about this one. You know, 9/11 was never forget, and of course they forgot immediately. Within 3 months, they were bashing President Bush. You know, and they're trying to pin it on him. You know, these Muslims, they they planned all this whole thing under Slick Willie, the fornicator in chief there. They're the only ones that can have multiple wives and you know.
All right, well, I don't want to get into a whole thing on Islam, but this, you know, and just because these guys are Americans means nothing. There's a lot of American jihadis. There are always turncoats. We've had other American jihadis. I'm sorry to say. All right, take care. Great call. Thank you so much. All right, let's go. Who's next? Let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, so, you know, the big picture that we're missing is, you know, nose rings aside, it's unprofessional. It just, you know, number one, what about the safety of it? You know, if that woman gets into a fight with someone, you know, all someone has to do is grab her there and she's going to be compromised by it. But anyway, let's put that aside. The fact that the government is failing us in so many ways, failing to keep us safe in so many ways, is the real issue. And that's what we need to be talking about. We've got all these little things. If you go back to when President Trump got in office last time, we had cities burning, we had people attacking the Washington, D.C., burning churches, doing all that stuff. Then all of a sudden Biden gets in and you didn't see all that crazy stuff. Now all of a sudden Trump is getting back in and these people are going out and doing all this crazy stuff. We just got to get through the next 19.
Well, why do you you know, there is no question that what happened, there's no question, no matter what the official story becomes, okay, these incidents are part of the same action. Both of them are military leaders, okay? The one in, they're both Army, one's Green Beret, degree in strategic, what is his, the Cybertruck guy, he's a former Green Beret, Army Special Forces Team Sergeant who holds a bachelor's degree in strategic studies and defense. So you've got a leader. The other guy in New Orleans was in human resources in the Army, but I watched his real estate agent video, which a lot of you probably have seen. He was a charismatic, take charge kind of guy too. These both are leaders. Neither of these two guys are followers. They're both leaders. They may not be the leader, but they're leaders.
Let me say 3 words from Trump. Enemy from within. This is what he's talking about. All right? This was what he was talking about when he said we're going to be, you know, we need to worry about the enemy from within. And you know what? We just need our Cash Patel. We need our Pete Hegseth. We need Pam Bondi. We need them to get in. And all this crap going on with the, you know, everybody fighting him about his appointments, and now this whole thing about the speaker and everything else. We need to get these people in office immediately.
Indeed. All right, I gotta run for the break, and again, every break except one has been taken right on time. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
The cold.
Oh,
hard
Barry.
Truth. Delivered.
All right, and we're going to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. How was your New Year's, Barry?
It was very nice. How about you?
Great. I got to talk to you off the air. So I'm I'll text you. I'm telling you on the air now because you're a busy lawyer. It's hard to get a hold of you. I got to talk to you off the air about something. So what do you have for us today?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody, and of course, the conversation would be about New Year's resolutions. You know, we all have them. We make them. We hopefully keep them, but sometimes we forget about them or break them, or don't keep them up on that priority list. So, as I mentioned to you on Tuesday on the air, what we're doing with the Siegel Law Group is we want to give people an incentive to make their New Year's resolution and keep it, and in doing so, to take the action of scheduling their free consultation with us And if they do so by the end of this week, meaning by tomorrow, once they're scheduled, and they just need to be scheduled and meet with us during the month of January, they will get $1,000 off of any fee that they have for setting up their living trust.
Wow, that's great. So $1,000 off. Now you got to have that appointment in. You got to make the appointment before the end of the week. Tomorrow's Friday, and you have to have the appointment scheduled before the end of the month of January. That's amazing. Now remember, no matter where you are in the state of Florida, the Siegel Law Group can help. It's always a no-charge consultation. If you mention you heard attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, you get that free consultation with the Siegel Law Group. And now the added bonus of $1,000 off your fees. That's amazing. Give the Siegel Law Group a call, toll free, 855-FLA-3782. And, we met, just to let you guys know, we met attorney Barry Siegel because you handled Steve's trust, Barry, and you actually did that free review with Steve, and his trust was practically a trusted name only. It would have been a disaster. It wasn't funded properly. His trustee had passed away and had all, wrong people were inheriting things. It was a mess, and you set him straight. But that's how we met attorney Barry Siegel. He set up Steve's trust. 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, we'll talk, okay? All right, take care. All right, we are back, and of course you're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Vanessa from Pensacola.
Hey, Vanessa, what's up?
Well, I'm just so concerned about everything that's happened in New Orleans. A lot of people from Northwest Florida go to New Orleans, the younger people. I used to. That Tuesday, New Year's, all that. And yesterday, Senator John Kennedy said, these are my people and my people's guests. And my heart just sunk. And I thought, oh goodness, I had to, pray for all those people that have been hurt, healed, their families. It's just terrible.
Yeah, and I saw some of the victims of this jihadi in New Orleans, and they're basically kids. I mean, their whole lives have been taken from them.
Yes. Yeah, I used to do it too in my 20s and 30s. I loved it. It was fun back then. Now look what's going on, and it's just terrible.
I've never had I've never been to New Orleans. I've never had a desire to go there. Never. It's just not my thing. I mean, I can get drunk here, I guess, but it's a god-awful tragedy. And, we've heard from a lot of liberals on the air today since 6 a.m. We've had a lot of Democrats, a lot of lefties call today. None of the liberals that have called in have had any sympathy for the victims. It's always been a diversion, attacking me, diverting from the jihadis. I don't know if you guys have noticed that listening, but that's what's happened.
Well, they live for misery. They don't have any fun or jokes inside of them. They don't even like comedy.
Well, the left always feel a connection to the bad guys. They just always do. I mean, look at this Luigi, this murderer. He murders this CEO who's has a family, and they're celebrating him. They're he's the new sex symbol. He's replaced Fauci as the new sex symbol of the left.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Got my mind around it. It does sense.
All right. Yeah, all right, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, we have had some great calls today, though. I mean, I don't mind these lefties calling in with their lunacy. I think it's instructive. I think it's good for people to hear what these lunatics think and how they feel. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, hey, Jay.
Okay, let's see where I start with this. Yesterday was a pretty rough day for the new year to come in. People died, people got killed. Bunch of hate, right? So I'd imagine, even with me, I'm not going to start off with a bunch of hate. But I noticed that you started off with a bunch of hate today when we're trying to go through the fact that all those people got killed yesterday.
Where's the hate? From me?
All the crazy coot, the drunken woman, what was the other one you just said?
Kamala's a drunk. Yes, she's an alcoholic.
Yeah, the Kamala, see, that's what I said, more hate.
No, that's accurate. She's an alcoholic.
Wait a minute. Call a spade, I caught that one too.
What's wrong? That's an old saying. Didn't I tell you I'd get in trouble for that, Mike? I told you. I can't say.
That's an old stereo black type.
No.
You said I'm gonna get in trouble for that one too.
Yeah, because I knew when I said that some liberal idiot like you would grab onto it. No. No, I knew you would take it as that because you're always grasping for something.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go to hate today because it's not a time. But I'm just wondering, how come nobody's noticing that the fact that those people did what I'm just talking about the one in Las Vegas. Did you notice he was sending some sort of, I don't know what kind of sign he was sending or how he was sending it, but the fact that he put Musk and Trump together?
Yeah.
On to that?
Yes, of course. I've been talking about him.
That man was sending them some sort of, I don't know what kind of sign or signal he's sending them. I don't know. I don't know nobody else that died because it was horrible. New Year's was horrible yesterday.
It sure was.
About all the people that died. That was the main thing. I'm not even going to call Trump any names today because that's not the day.
So what are these idiots doing in New York? We have an Islamic terrorist attack, 2 of them yesterday. Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you. See, he doesn't want to deal with it, right? So why did the Muslim activist of New York have a march for intifada yesterday in the streets of New York after we have these terrorist attack?
I can't even understand why these were Americans who did it. But you know what bothers me too? Is because you honestly believe that if Trump gets in office, that he can stop these nuts. You really believe that he's some sort of Superman. Think that they knew that this man was going to blow up that thing out there in front of his thing?
Well, what I know is he'll have competent people working in federal law enforcement, and when
to stop him yesterday, since that's what you said.
He does not have superpowers to see the future and stop terrorist attacks before they happen, but he...
Terrorists. These people was in the service. Who knew that these 2 nuts
were
going to go and turn on?
So what's the significance? I don't know if he could have stopped it. However, what we have to be concerned about now is finding this. They're obviously part of the same cell, these 2 guys. There's too many similarities between the 2. Okay? So there is a terror cell operating in the United States that's at large. And I don't
believe they're done.
No one does.
Other countries. They're people from our country.
Well, the reason that happens is because the education system that you liberals have hijacked is filled with anti-American, Muslim, anti-Semitic college professors.
Or it could be the hate that you spew every day. Could it be that too?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You spew.
No, anti-Americanism and anti-Semitism is part of the curriculum in our schools now.
You spew racist hate every day.
What racist hate? What racist hate did I spread today?
Oh, just the one racial thing you said today. I have a black daughter.
The guy says that I don't like black women. My daughter's a black woman. Yeah, we've talked about this. She's heard me say it a dozen times or more. She listens to the show.
Brainwashed. She thinks it's okay for you to say that.
Why to brag about my daughter?
When white men say, I have black friends, it's the same thing as when you...
It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as having a child. It's friends and children are not the same.
Just like I told you before.
Your friends, you don't change the diaper of your friends. You don't dedicate all your finances to your friends.
But you love that girl. I know that. I know by the things that I've heard you say about the things you do for her, everything. I know that. But you don't use her as your little pawn. I got a blood.
I didn't say that. What I said to the guy, nothing I say sounds good to you, Jay. So, but so nothing I do is going to be right in your mind. You have Brian Craig derangement syndrome, which is an offshoot. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's hey, listen, lots of people don't, my wife used to listen to me before we met. She didn't like me on the air either. Now we've been married 28 years.
Now.
Yeah, because I'm a lovable guy. But here the guy calls in. Hold on, slow down.
Name all day long.
So the guy calls in. I'm talking about this nose ring FBI agent yesterday that won't call terrorism. I don't think somebody from representing the FBI should have nose rings during a national press conference. That's just me.
Your choice. That's not your business.
It is my business. She's a public servant.
Could have saved them people yesterday. So what does it matter?
Yeah, I think if you have an agency that's filled with low standards, terrible things can happen. But when somebody calls in and says I'm a racist, I don't like black women, what am I supposed to say? I'm not supposed to point out that I have a black child?
Died because she had a nose ring in.
Maybe it's the culture. It's the culture of our federal law enforcement. No. Liberal culture. It's nothing to do with her being black. It's liberal. Look at that old white lady. That's the police chief. She looks like Margaret Hamilton. Yeah. Oh, what are you? Ageism. You don't like old people. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's, which you should take advantage of. You really should. It's a great thing to have. It's so convenient. Obviously, it's part of your security, but it's also a great convenience. You get a notification on your cell phone every time there's movement at your door. So, you got the Amazon deliveries, you got the DoorDash coming, got the Uber Eats coming. You got it all right there. It's pretty cool. Sloman's is going to give you a free doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's is going to give you a free, customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. Toll free, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. All right, let's take another call or two before the top of the hour. And Steve will be joining us after the top. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, is this me?
Sounds like you.
Awesome, sweet deal. I guess everybody's kind of talking about the New Year's stuff, and it's fresh on everybody's minds, as you should. How do you square President-elect blaming what happened like the day of on people coming from the southern border when I believe the guy was like an Army vet from Texas? Doesn't it kind of seem like fear-mongering in a way?
If what you said happened, it would not be fear-mongering. But no, he did not blame illegal Mexicans for the terrorist attack.
So he said that this was another
No.
of the people coming from the southern border.
That's not exactly what he said at all. I'll pull it up, but I don't, but that's not exactly what he said. But it's an example of. It is not exactly what he said, but it is an example of. You mean to tell me we have over 20 million illegals have invaded our country. What he was. No, would he? Oh, if you're not gonna debate me, Well, then I'm not gonna talk to you. I mean, I'm not gonna just let you talk and talk and talk and me not respond. Listen. We like liberals to call, but it's not like a soapbox where you stand up and bark a bunch of stuff and then you won't let us respond. All right. I've stuck pretty good to my New Year's resolution to take every break on time. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our top of the hour break. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right, celebrating 48 years on the radio. It's Thursday the 2nd. We'll be right back with more calls and Steve Kane after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, WSFS 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and heard in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM, and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, and right now it's 59 degrees. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 74 degrees with partly cloudy conditions throughout the whole day. So make sure you stay warm, stay hydrated, and have a wonderful start to your Thursday.
Weather brought to you by All Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
This traffic update is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Up the speed and moving.
Hey, I'm at the radio station today, but we can do it either way you want.
This traffic update is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Need a change this year? Drive into Valvoline.
Okay, I gotta call you. I gotta talk to you guys after the show.
Quality oil change. No appointment needed. Save $15 off your next oil change at VIOC.com.
Oh, it's not that important. I'll just talk to you sometime later. It's not that important. Okay. Is Steve connected? Is Steve connected? Okay, it's okay. We can do. Okay, I'll wait. Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye. All right, gotcha, Steve. Yes. Okay, hold on.
Started just $99 out of Palm Beach, with third and fourth guests sailing free and plenty of onboard credit and free upgrades to make your next cruise the ultimate escape to paradise. It's the perfect way to recharge while exploring the Bahamas, soaking up stunning ocean views and making memories you'll never forget. But you gotta hurry. Cabins are filling up fast. Go to MargaritaVilleAtSea.com and book your spot today.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
When you need lab work, don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. Go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor can order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. There's lots of Any Lab Test Nows around, but these are the only two advertising on our radio station. So don't use the rest. Only go to Any Lab Test Now of Boca and Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, the third hour has begun. Callers on hold, stand by. You bet you're with us, Steve? No, you're with us. You're with us. That's cool. If you're on hold, stand by, because I got to talk to you for a minute, Steve. Today's show, it is a, I tell you, I guess you live long enough, life starts happening over again, right? What's happened, I have talked to countless liberals today since 6 o'clock. And it reminds me of the left, and when we brought in those imams and stuff after 9/11, everything is about Trump or me or, it's everything. Mean. Well, we may have broken a Steve Kane Show record, and being the 48th year has just begun this week of the Steve Kane Show. The dump button may have been used more in the first 2 days of the new year than the first 2 days of any new year ever before. Yeah, the S word's the most common, followed by the F word, but yeah.
You're saying that there's a lot of anger right there?
It's the left. They're just out of control. They want to defend these jihadis. They exactly.
This late in life, you expect rationality?
Well, I don't know. You speak for yourself about this late in life stuff, but because I'm not your age, but oh yeah, they're in the early before we go to the phones, yeah. I mean, one caller, Jay from Jersey, he admitted he has this. He is the first documented or diagnosed case, although it's self-diagnosis because he diagnosed himself. He says he has Brian Craig derangement syndrome. It's a very rare condition. I know. I got a disease now named after me. Isn't that awesome? A disease. I've made it, man. Exactly. I've made it. There's a disease named after me. This is awesome. I don't know. Do you want to go to the phones, or do you have any thoughts on these terror attacks? Well, let me give just a brief update to the audience. We have multiple connections between both the New Orleans ISIS guy and the Elon Musk Cybertruck explosion at Trump Tower. Both vehicles were rented from the same online app, the Turo app. Yeah, it's kind of, the way I describe it, it's like Airbnb but for cars. You can rent out your own private car to strangers, which seems insane to me, but people do it. Both of them are former U.S. Army. The guy in the Elon Musk Cybertruck was an Army sergeant who's a Green Beret who holds a degree in strategic planning and leadership, and so they both are U.S. Army. The New Orleans guy was in human resources in the Army, and I saw a video of him. He was a real estate agent. I guess that he wasn't closing well enough and went into another field of work, sadly. But he was also a very charismatic, take charge guy. Both of these people, the Cybertruck guy and the New Orleans, are not followers, they're leaders, Army leaders. These are not, they may have a higher ranking person. They may not be the top of the cell, but they're not the bottom either. You know what I mean? They're both leaders. Their life, everything. These incidents are the same incident. It's like we had multiple incidents on 9/11. Yeah.
You're attempting to create a picture profile.
Yeah. Like Another profile would be FBI agents should not have nose rings in national press conferences. I mean, I'm sorry. You know, when you're in a position like that, you have to come out and command respect. You take the nose ring out. You cover. You know what I mean? There's certain things you do.
Civic crew over there in New Orleans. But by the way, that is where my daughter, who has left me since the election, my oldest daughter, that's where she lives. Not too far from, I recognize some of the local streets. That Walgreens in the background all the time yesterday. We used to shop there. We used to visit.
Oh, wow. So that's you know, that's well. Luckily, she's okay.
I called. She did not return my call. But
Oh my goodness.
No, she's still
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
a piece of work.
I tell you. I tell you. All right, let's take some of these calls. Maybe some of the jerks will have a go at you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. You know, you have the patience of Joe. You really are
Yeah.
a person. I almost had to go barf. Jay is too much. And I'd like Jay to know that calling a spade is just an old saying. And I'm a grandmother. I don't know what he's talking about when he says that. And I've never heard you say anything about your daughter being black until someone tells you that you don't like black people, and I've heard you say that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This terrorist thing, it's really serious, and as you said, these are definitely leaders. These are people in leadership positions, and so it's like looking at military strategy here, and I think that's what we better prepare for. When I first heard this about New Orleans, and I've been to New Orleans, trust me, you didn't miss anything. Hurricane Katrina washed.
New Orleans is great.
I love it. It was fun when I went on Burger Street until I saw the kids being sold on the street. That was more than I.
What do you mean being sold on it? You talking about prostitution?
I'm talking about grown men pimping little kids, and I went to a police officer because I was part of a franchise, so we went to different places. And New Orleans was where our convention was 1 year. And it was a lot of fun. You know, it started out that way. And then we're walking to dinner, and I hear this man tell this little girl, get closer to the curb so they can see you. Get closer to the... And
That's sick.
Franchise owners from Dothan said, Barb, I come to New Orleans all the time. Go tell that cop what you heard, and come on, let's go eat. That's how common it is. That's how common it is. And, Katrina washed a lot of sin out of that city. But anyway, it's alarming. And I was surprised that it didn't happen more places at once. Because I think there was something going on in Vegas. There was no explosion, but I think they found things that should have been horrible.
Did you watch any of the film yesterday with the press conference? With the...
Which one? You talking about the sheriff in Vegas or the New Orleans? Well, the New Orleans with the old lady with the walker that's the police chief. Yeah, that was I got to tell you, I watched it. Senator Kennedy was there, and Senator Kennedy must have been thinking, "What the heck? What's happened to my state?"
Someone else. I read a post this morning that some girl, somebody who was FBI, was giving a press conference, and Senator Kennedy was there and got up and started kind of pushed her aside. Did that really?
Yeah, well, he took over the podium. But, a lot's to be said. I'll ask you, Barbara, as a black woman, I think that FBI agent with the nose ring, I just don't think that she was the appropriate, she didn't,
Their hands like they're signaling a ship over the ocean.
Yeah.
She was unprofessional.
Yes.
Just say it.
Yes.
Professional.
Yes.
It's unprofessional to say the least. And for FBI agents should command respect.
They used to.
That they appear. And they used to, exactly. You talking suit and ties, dressed and pressed, women and men.
Did you see the thing with Senator Kennedy?
No, I did not. No, I did not. But I saw a post.
I saw some of him. I didn't see him at.
They basically said he knows what's going on behind the scenes. You're not being honest.
Yes.
You're going to give him a couple days to shape up, and if he doesn't, he's going public with all of it.
Oh my goodness.
Like it was heavy-duty crap.
He doesn't play around. Barbara, I'm gonna get. We got a break, but some good points and thank you. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon with a subtle reminder that I'm back on the air this morning right after 10 a.m. with more of your favorite oldies on South Florida's True Oldies channel. Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman Shield. And that's not all. Sloman's will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Then, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel old. At the Bio Station in West LA, Dr. Mitch Matez, an expert in hormone replacement therapy, is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural and will restore your hormones to where they were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, have more energy, and even get your sex drive back. And for women, hormone replacement pellet therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more mood swings, better sleep, and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
You got the first time you saw the king of rock and roll? Relive the memories of Chris McDonald's Savannah's Rock and Birthday Bash. Sunday, January 5th at 2 p.m. The Minnehaha Performing Arts Center at MSU Davie. Chris McDonald with his full production band and dancers is the only tribute artist hired by Elvis Presley Enterprises to perform at Graceland's Heartbreak Hotel. Sunday, January 5th at 2 p.m. Call 954-462-0222. Go online at Minnehaha Performing Arts Center. Thank you very much.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM. Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM. Fort Lauderdale on 96.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve's here.
I'd like to hijack the moment because it was to me. I watched all yesterday, as I do almost every day. I'm glued to my television set. Senator Kennedy, who's a great senator from Louisiana, was as angry as I've ever seen him yesterday. And basically, I would like anybody who was viewing yesterday's goings-on in New Orleans that knows the moment I'm talking about. I'd like to hear from you before the show's over. But what Kennedy said was, he's tired of this crap, he's tired of the cover-ups, he basically said that this is being covered up, He's going to give them a day or two out of respect to get the truth out. And if they don't tell the truth, he's going public with everything. And it sounded like it was heavy-duty power. Heavy.
Yeah, and he did take, you know, the thing is, and I would like to hear that call, by the way. There's 2 openings on the board, and callers, hang in there. This is the thing, okay? Kennedy, I was just watching the video because I was looking for what you were talking about, of when he took over the podium from the FBI agent. She's just not equipped to be, she's not a leader, okay? And, yeah. A real FBI special agent in charge of a terrorist event that is banned in different parts of the country on the same day, somebody doesn't take a podium away from them. You understand what I mean?
Lost.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's it. She just doesn't, yeah.
The city fathers there, and one was battier than the next.
And Kennedy, not only did Kennedy move to the podium, she was shoved away by other FBI agents. I mean, that's not a leader looking for those behind a terror attack. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Kash Patel will get rid of her. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, there you go. That's the liberal response. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Rabbi David.
Hey, Rabbi.
So I want to comment on Senator Kennedy. Hey, Steve, you're right. I'm talking before I comment on Senator Kennedy. I just want to say something about the ring, the nose ring. You know, FBI agents are soldiers. Okay, you got, you know, every single one of them has to be able to fight and take a punch. You know,
Well, this
you're going
one
to go
was
into a
an
boxing
idiot.
ring with
You see the moment we're
you're gonna
talking
go-
about?
Yeah, you got to wear a nose ring and get. What if someone punches you in the nose?
Forget the nose, forget the nose ring. I mean, I'm talking about they were like I don't know, like a boy.
Anyway, I just think you're not a soldier if you have a nose ring. Number 2 is Steve. I'm so happy you brought it up because I watched it. First, I saw Senator Kennedy with his arms, you know, folded, and then he put his hand over his mouth. He was dying there. He couldn't take it. You couldn't take it. I get up there, and it's anything and everything from him knowing things to him just being ticked off that how they spent the FBI has been spending time on Trump instead of protecting our country.
Not only, but no, that wasn't quite the way I saw it. What I saw is that he was threatening to expose all these investigations.
No,
he was talking beyond
he
this.
knew something.
In New Orleans,
Right. He knows
was
something.
talking about the cover-up with the attempts on Trump's life. He was talking about all that, and he was going to. He was obviously they've been covering up everything, which is not going to come as news to anybody out there that's been following this. And he said he's going to give them a couple of weeks to straighten out their stories and go public. And I think,
You know, I think I have the part. Let me play it, okay?
Here's what I want to add.
Yeah.
Now, he's holding back.
Catch these people.
So yeah, I just want to mention one other thing.
Yeah, I got to get it queued up. Go ahead, you guys go. I'll queue it up at the bottom of the hour.
I might as well just mention one thing. How Israel, you hear me? How Israel ties in the fact that why doesn't Biden now say, oh, let's have a ceasefire in New Orleans?
And then
let's not go after anybody. Go after the people that killed us. Okay? You know, Israel's allowed to go after the people that killed us. No ceasefire. You know, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
killed, tragically, 15 of them. We're going to go after them because that's what you do. Okay? So Israel is 1,200 civilians. Israel can go after them also.
Part of what they're making a big deal that they're homegrown. This country's education system has been hijacked by anti-American, anti-Semitic rhetoric, you know, and it's probably not too hard to flip Americans into jihadis.
I don't think they were radicalized after they were in the army. I think they were radicalized and went into the army. Think about that.
To get that a lot of times they do that to get training. All right, Rabbi, thank you for the call. Great points. I'm not sure if this is the clip, Steve, but it's Senator Kennedy, and anything he says is always good. All right.
Catch these people. Catch these people. and then tell the American people the truth. Now, I don't want you to tell us yet anything that's going to interfere with your investigation. And there's things that I've been told that I think are true that I'm not sharing with you today because it could interfere with their investigation. But after we get to the bottom of this, they need to tell the American people the truth. And the people of New Orleans the truth. And the people of America the truth. I think the mayor and the governor are very wise to postpone this ball game for 24 hours. There's just too much stuff we don't know. And it's just not worth it. But I guess my final point is, I will promise you this. I will, when it is appropriate and this investigation is complete, you will find out what happened and who was responsible. Or I will raise fresh hell. And I will chase those in the federal government who are responsible for telling us what happened, like they stole Christmas.
Okay, so what he's saying there is there's already a cover-up in the government. There's a yeah. I mean, and he knows what happened. Yeah, that's, well, you know, Trump's back in 18 days, but that's a long time. I mean, look what happened in 12 hours yesterday, right? You know, yeah. Now I want to yeah. Absolutely. Now I want to tell people about Lighthouse Medical. You know, the thing about Lighthouse Medical, you know, they have a treatment for neuropathy that works. And they have a treatment for neuropathy that not only works, but lasts. You had your neuropathy treatment, Steve, at Lighthouse Medical over 2.5 years ago now. And your neuropathy symptoms have not returned. And I got to tell you, I've known others other than you with neuropathy. It is living torture. It really is. Dizziness, the no feeling at all, the loss of balance, the tingling. You basically become a homebound person, maybe even bedbound with neuropathy. Their treatment works and it lasts. And we just stumbled upon, we were such a hurry to get you treated because you were suffering. We weren't thinking about the long term. When you have neuropathy, you want relief, you want it now. And now here we are 2.5 years later, it hasn't returned. That's amazing. That is amazing, Steve. And yeah. So listen, if you are a family member or suffering from neuropathy, call Lighthouse Medical. Make sure you mention the Steve Kane Show, because then you can take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, we're going to take our bottom of the hour break. I've taken every break on time except one in the last 2 days, which is pretty good for me. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Gregg. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Marone from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Thursday, January 2nd, 2025, and right now it's 59 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day,
Welcome. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys. And if you're already subscribed, please like the video. That helps a lot. My wife and I will have a new podcast today. I'm going to do more of those streams like I did last night with Kathy, where she's on the phone taking calls. She likes taking calls from people.
And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
This traffic update is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Up to speed and moving smoothly on the Turnpike and 95, north and south from Jupiter, Palm Beach, West Palm, and Lakewood. This traffic update is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Need a change this year? Drive into Valvoline Instant Oil Change for an always quick but never rushed quality oil change. No equipment needed. Save $15 off your next oil change at VIOC.com. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. We'll get you back on the road in no time. That's traffic. I'm Don.
nutrition to bio-well energy flow and metabolic fitness. Take a few days to let the experts at Paulette guide you with services including pulsed electromagnetic field therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, regolith therapy, and dry flotation meditation. Fine dining is available at the oceanfront restaurant Tula, unlike anything else in Palm Beach County. Experience their 4-story wellness spa with endless treatments designed to detox and relax. Explore all available offers at amritocean.com. That's AMRITOcean.com.
Contracting, roofing, and building restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602, or find us on the web at laportacontracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
Just reading over a couple of articles.
Say goodbye to the holiday hustle and hello to smooth sailing on award-winning cruises with Margaritaville at Sea. Just voted best in cruise by Cruise Critic Readers. Cruises for 4 start at just $99 out of Palm Beach, with 3rd and 4th guests sailing free and plenty of onboard credit and free upgrades to make your next cruise the ultimate escape to paradise. It's the perfect way to recharge while exploring the Bahamas, soaking up stunning ocean views, and making memories you'll never forget. But you gotta hurry, cabins are filling up fast. Go to MargaritaVilleAtSea.com and book your spot today.
This is Steve Kane. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida.
Be back right after this.
Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious. Crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade. Nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Santa Rosa.
All right.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years on the air.
All right, we are back. Oh, I didn't have it so you could hear the new sounder, Steve. The 48 years on the radio sounder. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I just heard it again. Yeah, just played today for the first time. All right, there's only one opening on the board. You know, what Kennedy says is scary, Steve, because he says they're not telling us what's going on. How do we even know this is over?
Well, in fact, I would suggest from everything I heard yesterday, it's not over.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Disagreement amongst the powers that be.
Well, who is the power that be with this administration? Who even knows? I'll tell you, I didn't see Mayorkas yesterday, the Homeland Security Secretary, at these press conferences. Did you? Well, this is what Homeland Security is all about. It's about fighting terrorism. He was nowhere to be seen. Yeah. All right, back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, David, Tennessee.
You got to get off the speaker.
Brian.
That? Yes.
I'm U.S. Army, and those other folks get involved with this. If I may, I served in the early 90s under Colin Powell and the Clinton administration, unfortunately. These types of people are specific oath, specific, so help me God. We've had these people coming into our own military since the early 90s. I'm talking, when they're these ISIS type of people, Al-Qaeda, served in South Korea, Iraq, and Fort Sill. And these folks were infiltrating in our own military, enlisting, knowing what they were getting into, and purposely caused us issues in field training and things of this.
Well, why do you think they do? Do they do it to get the specialized military training, or what? What's the?
Well, I think they tried to make it like they're trying to accept universal different types of religion, but their religion does not just simply belong to Western society. I'm a Christian, spiritual, believe in God, all those things. But these people were on sick call for 6 months to a year. You're talking E5s, E6s, and E7s. And that particular from that area, Middle East over there, I'll be blunt. These people would just sit in the barracks.
All right. Well, then, unfortunately, this guy did something, and he did some terrible things. All right, appreciate the call. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling? I just a griper. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes, I can hear you. All right, once, twice. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Justin from West Palm Beach.
All right, speak up.
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick comment on that nose ring thing. My wife works in retail as a manager, and she does have a nose ring, but she doesn't wear it during work. I guess that's kind of like a professionalism thing.
Mm-hmm.
See your point on the whole FBI thing. Secondly, that last dollar thing for your service. I'm in the military now. I'm in the reserves. So I don't follow the news too much, but so you're saying this on New Year's Day there's some attack?
Yeah, you missed a lot of news. There were two attacks that are obviously part of the same cell. Both guys are former Army.
Gotcha. So on Tuesday, a couple of us got a message asking if we can come in on some orders for basically like security support.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this was before those things that happened yesterday. So, but I'm pointing out the military is kind of aware of these heightened threats. And I guess with the whole inauguration going on pretty much from now until beyond that point, we're aware.
Well, President Trump yesterday announced he's going to have a rally on the 19th, the day before the inauguration in Washington, and I don't know about that one.
We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
All right, well, I appreciate the call. Thank you. Did you hear that, Steve, with Trump's announcement?
There's a call-up. They announced that last night.
Yeah.
There's going to be a call-up, but one of the shows.
Well, they did. They're not doing a call-up for just some lone guy in New Orleans.
They implied that it was directly because of the security for the game.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't go to that game. I wouldn't go to it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? Good. Well, I tell you, there's so much of. I'm watching this press conference they had, and what I see affirmative action and DEI on display, and it's really taking its roots in this country. And a lot of people are in positions they have no business being in. And this is just pathetic. And it goes for the current administration. You go to any cabinet position, Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Energy, Attorney General, Vice President. It's the same thing. Incompetent people at every level. Incompetent and a large time.
What? No, we're talking. What about that commanding police chief of New Orleans? Oh my goodness.
Grandma, she seems like a nice person in that, but is that the police chief we want there?
That's a meter maid, or you know what she looks like? She looks like a crossing guard at the school.
Yeah, And I didn't believe it at first when I saw it, and they said, she's the chief of police. I said, no, I must have misheard it.
Yeah.
He's the chief of police?
Yeah.
Kennedy's looking around and he's saying, oh my goodness. And if he wasn't there, the truth would not come out. It would not come out with this group there. And we used to be going around and spinning our wheels and this and that.
Well, they're only there for 18 more days.
Thank God. I don't think we could survive much more than 18 more days. It's just really, we've reached a new low in this country. Thank God we have an administration with people like Cash Patel that are coming in that will clean this up. And it needs desperate cleaning because the Secret Service, the head of the Secret Service, it's everywhere. Mm. If we had Kamala coming back in, if she had won this election, this country's gone.
Could you imagine? Why do you think they did? You know, there's obviously a cell here. They told us there's a cell in New Orleans. This guy's part of it, and with the Tesla truck. Why would they do, to do something on the eve of President Trump's return, who's not going to be playing around? I don't wonder why they made a move now. And this thing in Vegas was a direct message to Elon Musk and Trump, and I think it was they're trying to scare Elon to get away from the politics.
That was a big explosion on that truck. I mean, anybody walking near there got really hurt quite a bit. We have, thank God, we have this administration coming in, and the announcements of who's going to be running the different positions are really welcome. Thing in New Orleans. And I'm afraid we're going to see more before Trump comes in. But thank God at least he's coming in because this is just pathetic. Mm-hmm. The people going out to see a game and celebrate the New Year's and they get mowed down by.
That's awful.
Handle it. I don't think they're geared up to do it.
Yeah.
It didn't inspire confidence in me at that press conference. Senator Kennedy. That was it. And he can't do everything. So.
That's right. Yeah. All right. I appreciate the call. Take care. We've had spectacular calls on this today. Some lunatics too, but the lunatics are good. It is scary. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Oh, hi. Okay. I wanted to talk about the Heritage Foundation. When they mentioned something about the Butler incident. That there were somebody from the FBI agents building coming from there about 7 times. They went back and forth to Crook's house. When Crooks went to the fairgrounds and they searched them, they only found the.
They said Crooks is the Trump, the never Trumper that shot the president in Butler. The story is that he had 2 cell phones. One of them was connecting with somebody who was in or near the FBI building in Washington. Could have been on the sidewalk, it could have been inside, but in that block.
Now, when he got to the fairgrounds, they only found the viewfinder on him. There was a person who was doing filming everybody, buying, all the.
Yeah. All right, we're not talking about Butler today, but we got to run for a break. But we're open phones is tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow's Friday. Open phones, open Mega Mike Friday. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. All right, we're going to take our last break and be back.
The cold, hard.
All righty, and it's time for the first gold and precious metals report of 2025. On the line from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated is William Youngerman. William Youngerman, how the metals starting off this year?
Well, the metals are starting off this year with a nice gain, as that's how it ended actually for the most part on the old year, 2024. Gold overall last year traded in a range of $1,992 to $2,787. So that was a nice gain for 2024. Silver ranged from $22 to $34.82. Platinum had a range of $872 to $1,082 on the high. That was year 2024. They closed out. Gold closed out $26.2460, up $18 on the last day of the year on modified trading. Silver closed out the year at $28.86 the ounce. That was down 5 cents. Platinum closed out the year up $3 at $905, and palladium was up $8 at $894. This morning we see a rally continuing for gold. Gold up $14.40 right now at $2,639. Silver up 34 cents at $29.19 the ounce. Platinum up $17 at $922, and palladium up $8 at $902 the ounce. So the markets are looking really good for 2025. Somewhere within the next 30 to 60 days, we'll be giving our prediction for the precious metals for the year 2025, as you know. And remember, our prediction for 2024 was that in January, when we said that we thought gold would hit $2,700 in 2024, and it actually did better than that. It got up to $2,787, but that was a good call so far, or as well as for 2024.
Yeah, I know. I remember when you said that last year. I thought that is a very bold prediction. You know, that 2,700 mark, and then boom, we surpassed it. It's amazing. Well, we look forward to that. William Merriman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can call 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And remember, you can do all of your business with William Merriman over the phone and through the mail, no matter where you are located. Online, you can find both his address and phone number, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Merriman, we will finish out the week tomorrow. You too. All right, we are back. Do you want to go back to the phone, Steve, or... Okay, let's see who's been on the hold the longest. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Stephen Barry, good morning. It's JJ from Nash.
Hey.
Hey, guys. Happy 48th and Happy New Year to everyone.
Yeah, crazy. 48 years on the radio. It's crazy.
It's pretty damn crazy.
You know, I don't know how long the oldest listener in the audience is, but if you... I would not mind hearing from somebody who thinks they're the longest... There's got to be someone who's been listening all 48 years. If you think you're the longest listener, let me know. Give us a call sometime. I'd like to pick your brain. Well, I wasn't giving away anything. We're not giving away anything. I just want to pick their brain. A plaque? Yeah, they got plaque in their teeth.
Okay.
He's giving away prizes from us. No, we're not going to do that.
Okay. This New Orleans news conference was just
an embarrassment.
Disappointment. It was kind of like,
you know, on 9/11 we had Mayor Giuliani, okay, and Kelly, the police commissioner. You know, who was no, it wasn't Kelly. Who was the police commissioner on 9/11? Was it Kelly or was it Carrick? I can't remember. But we had strong, commanding, tough guys.
that confidence, that psychological, that effect. You need that.
You know what? This woman yesterday was like, she looked like Rose from Titanic at the end in '97. Not the young one, the old version. I mean, she's like 99 years old.
Yeah, it's sort of, to me, when I'm just looking at it, it's sort of like a bad South Park Simpsons episode. And I mean, what are they? And there's an ISIS flag, and they're like ready to call it workplace violence. I mean, these guys were.
Yeah.
They may have been homegrown, but. You know, I mean, we let enough people across the border. I'm sure they were radicalized.
You know,
I mean, obviously.
You know what the biggest moment was to me as I listened to all these calls coming in? They asked Kennedy a final question at the end of his speech making. Did he really believe it was safe to go to the game tonight, to be safe in New Orleans? And it was a long pause. When he was trying to figure out how to handle it, because you know he doesn't think it's safe, but he didn't want to say that directly.
But you can't, yeah, and try to keep everybody calm, yeah.
And he ended up saying yes, which means he didn't tell the truth.
Yeah, well.
Pause kind of answers it, but then it's always, you know, I mean, listen, these guys were not radicalized by Santa, okay? And we've just let like 20 million people come across the border. I mean, Joe Biden's down there, basically. I mean, they're waving them in like they.
You know, the thing with the liberals. Their attitude is, oh, they're Americans, like it's okay. They've been locking Americans up from January 6th for years now. I never hear them say, oh, those J6ers are just homegrown guys. No big deal here. But now all of a sudden the jihadis, oh, they're homegrown. No, nothing to see here. They're homegrown. Like it's no biggie. Bizarre.
Yeah, it's not, these are not, Mother Teresa's not down there with the nuns, spreading AK-47s all over the damn place. I mean, these guys, I don't care where they're from. They're radicalized by the Islamist movement. I mean, and Mayorkas is down there. It's like Mayorkas is like the activities director on the Love Boat. He's got his own, private friggin', he's the leader of the largest terrorist organization on the planet. That's how many people he's let into our... We've got 20 million people that came in. If 1/10 of 1%, just 1/10 of 1%, that's that's 20,000. 20,000 really, really bad people. That's not 1%.
And this police chief, Granny, Chief Granny there, she was involved recently in New Orleans in a very strange car accident. And yeah.
To me, listen, when Trump gets in, everything is not going to switch on a dime. A lot of things are. They've already started to change, but it is so screwed up. They have got our country so screwed up. It is good, and they're trying to get it more screwed up with the remaining days that they have.
You think Kash Patel will let special agents in charge wear nose rings?
There's going to be working protection detail down in the Falkland Islands, and guess what?
Falkland Islands. You know what it said on her jacket? It said BAU. BAU is that unit on Criminal Minds. And I noticed that because I like Criminal Minds, especially the new seasons that they do on Paramount Plus. Very good. They had the most incredible serial killer COVID storyline I've ever seen on serial killers in my life. But anyway, I thought that the BAU were like the elite.
Nose ring was probably her earpiece. She just didn't know where to put it.
Yeah, maybe. All right, take care. All right, well, Biden could show her. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, it's Jim in Cincinnati. Happy New Year and happy 48.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Thank you, sir. Have been here before. I'm not going to do the long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's the kiss of death.
We won't have that this morning. Hey, the police chief down there, the Granny, something I haven't heard yet this morning. She was fired from Oakland before she was hired.
Yeah. And then she sued them for wrongful termination and won $1.5 million settlement.
She's pretty much a plant. Second is on the there was bombs that were also supposedly planted around New Orleans, and that the guy down there in the truck had help. Early on in the reporting, you'll hear them say there were other people they're looking for, and they had houses staked out for these people. But in an instant, they came back on the news and said, oh, they're not involved.
Yeah.
What we were looking for, they're not involved. They have nothing to do with it. And they can determine that quickly, but they can't determine any other substantial fact about either one of the people.
And New Orleans, that have all these connections. The thing about the lady police chief, they're so incompetent in New Orleans. Who would hire someone who just sued their former employer and was awarded $1.5 million? Who would hire somebody like that? Yeah, I think so.
The same people who had the guy in there at Katrina. I mean,
Ray Nagin. At least Ray Nagin was elected, but he ended up going to prison, didn't he? Yeah, but he was elected. This woman was, when you're the police chief and your body is too small for the hat, literally. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Optics, you can see it with Trump. Optics are so much everything.
That was not, as Trump would say, that was not from Central Casting.
It was for the opposite reason.
Or a freak show, unless you're casting a freak show.
Happy New Year. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
All right, take care. All right, where are we going? Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Howard from Moreno Valley, California.
Howard, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm not your oldest listener. I'm your newest listener. I ran across you early this morning.
Oh, well, welcome.
on it since you began.
Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you. I have a lot of family in Florida, so it's nice to know that they have a station that they can go to now.
That's right.
They don't already do it.
Yes.
The thing that I wanted to comment about, you mentioned that they're looking for ties between Las Vegas and New Orleans, and there's a lot of similarities between the two.
Same cell.
And I'm sure that, you know, these aren't coincidences, that this was planned.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that drives me crazy is they knew so much about these people so fast, but we've never heard anything on the two people that attempted to kill Donald Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've heard nothing. We don't know anything. And they were so quick to kill one of them. And
well, these guys are both dead too. But there's the same rental app for both cars, both former Army. Come on, and this you know, we were talking yesterday on the show about a lot of MAGA people like Bannon are going after Elon. I hope all that stuff stops now. I really do. I mean, I think they're trying to scare Elon to distance himself from Trump. That was a definite message directed to Elon Musk. It's god awful.
you know that the thing in Las Vegas, that was just a message to Trump and Musk that they don't like him for whatever reason. But you know that all these things, they began weeks ago when the media started pounding on Musk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they were pounding on every single nomination.
Yeah. Well, see, that's part of the problem. We're in a transition period. When January 20th comes here, the agencies are still going to be run by these nose-in-the-earring DEI wokesters. It's going to take a while for Trump to get his people in, confirmed, nominated, then they got to hire people. We're very vulnerable right now during this transition. These same Biden idiots are going to be running these agencies for a while. So it doesn't all switch on the 20th. It's going to take weeks, months.
But at least this time, Trump knows what's going on because he got fooled the first time he was in because he trusted agencies.
That's right. Hey, listen. Welcome to the show. It's always good to have new listeners that just found us. It's the end. The show's ending. We're signing off soon. But I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. You know, it's so weird. I just got notice that he just found this, and then I just got notice yesterday that one of our listeners passed away. Yeah, one of our callers. Yeah. It was a pretty sad thing. He was going on the cruise with us. I will tomorrow. I'll share his obituary because I wanna honor him properly. But I got his obituary, and I'll share it on the air tomorrow. But he was a good guy, and he'll be missed. Yeah, he wasn't one of the jerks, okay? He was a nice guy. They called, big fan of the show, and he was going on the cruise, passed away. But I'll go over his obituary tomorrow because I want to give him the proper props because he was a big fan of the show, and he owes that. I don't want to just fit it in here at the end. Well, listen, guys. We'll be back tomorrow, and tomorrow is Open Phones, Open MAGA Mike Friday, and Monday through Thursday, although it's a bit like herding cats, you got to call in and talk about what we're talking about. But on Friday, the show prep is up to you guys. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show, which is tomorrow, Open MAGA Mike Friday. And you and I are going to make an announcement maybe tomorrow about something. Don't do it now, Steve, because I want to talk about it first. But Steve and I are going to make an announcement maybe tomorrow on something that we got going on. And so stay tuned for that. And it's something good, guys. But this is a Out of every terrorist attack since 9/11, not including 9/11, this is the most frightening because, I mean, we have clowns running the country right now. And that's what makes it scary. You know, if we had some competent people, even one, it wouldn't be so frightening. But look what we got. We got Granny. It is. It is. All right, guys, listen, we're out of time for today. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. See you tomorrow at 6.
WSFM.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.